I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. And today we're going to talk about the new public charge rule that goes into effect today, February 24th, 2020. Today is a day that will impact people that are looking to immigrate into the United States for the first time and seeking permanent residency, and also anyone that's currently inside the United States and applying for their green card. It will affect their ability to receive that additional green card. For anyone that already has a green card, such as permanent residents or people that are looking to renew their green cards or people that are looking to apply for naturalization, the new public charge rule will not apply to you. So you don't have to watch this video because you're not going to be impacted. So what's the big deal with the new public charge rule? Well, the big deal is that this new rule allows regular immigration officers, not higher ups, but just regular immigration officers and visa officers, the ability to just deny a foreign national's visa application or green card application simply because they believe that person to be likely to receive public benefits in the future. So you might be wondering, in the past, what did the government rely on when they determined whether or not a foreign national is likely to become a public charge or dependent on government benefits? Well, in the last 20 years, the government has solely relied on Form I-864 Affidavit of Support. Now, the I-864 was completed by a U.S. citizen or green card holder, and this person would vouch or promise that before that foreign national applies for any government assistance, that they're going to step in and help the foreign national financially. Now, this form is usually accompanied by tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, most recent pay statements, or an employment verification letter. But all of this used to be very black and white. You submit this form, you submit those documents, and you can petition a relative over to the United States. Or you could also petition other friends and family members. However, with the new public charge rule, this is not going to be so easy. So with the new public charge rule, it will give the power to immigration officials to just simply deny green card applications if they believe that the foreign national is likely to become a public charge. And this is dangerous because you're going to see, and I'm just going to assume, a lot of discriminations based on age, based on race, based on ethnic background, based on education, financial history, and also health issues. And it's going to be this way because the type of information the government is requesting on the new form is related to all of these little areas. Now, the new form is called the I-944. It's the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, and it's not needed for certain types of applications. So if you have received prior benefits under a U visa, asylum, VAWA, or a special immigrant juvenile status, this form, the new regulations do not apply to you when you're applying for a green card. However, for most people, when you're applying for a green card, the new rules will impact you. So today, I'm going to provide you with my top 10 pieces of advice in order to not have your application rejected or denied based on completing the forms incorrectly. Tip number 1, visit the government website at www.uscis.gov. Once you get on the website, you want to click on the Forms menu and you want to look at the Form I-944 and then read the form instructions. The instructions are there for a reason and they're going to help you complete the application process. Now, if you don't have an attorney, you need to do this 100% because no one's going to look over your shoulders to make sure that you're filling out the forms correctly. Tip number 2, if you have already completed your application and you're just waiting for certain supporting documentation, you might want to look at the forms one more time. Go to the government's website, look under Form Edition, and make sure that you have the latest form that's used by immigration. After the implementation of the new public charge rule, they have changed many of the forms, and you have to redo the forms because they're not going to accept the old and prior versions. Tip number 3 is that you want to make sure that you submit all of the supporting documentation required with Form I-944. This is very important. The government has stated that they will deny a case if you submit or fail to submit the supporting documentation. So do not rush in filing your green card application only to have it denied. Because once the government denies your application, you have to start all over with the forms. You have to repay the government fees, you have to retake the passport photos, and you may have to redo the medical exam. So whatever you do not rush and submit a form without all of the supporting documentation. Tip number 4, do not submit original documents to immigration. Immigration has came out and stated that they're going to destroy original documents once they scan them. So once you send a case over to immigration, they scan all of the documents and then they are going to destroy them. So if you have original documents that you don't want the government to destroy, do not submit them with your application, or else you're not going to be able to get it back. Tip number 5 is very easy and basic. Make sure you use black ink. So whether or not that means that you're writing this by hand or that you're printing it out on printer paper, make sure that the ink is in black. If you submit it in any other color, this is a very easy reason for immigration to deny your application. Tip number 6, make sure to use addendum pages. So if you look on the affidavit of support or the form I-944, you will see an addendum page. Now this is for you to explain any discrepancies or negative factors on your application. So you want to make sure that you explain everything, or else the government may just reject your application overall. Tip number 7, make sure that you put in all of the required spaces if you're not filling in information for it. This is very important. If you are subscribed to our videos, you will know that a couple of weeks ago, we made a video talking about U visas and asylum applications. With the new rules, these applications are automatically rejected when they do not have NAs. And I'm talking about dumb areas. So let's say, for example, it says spouse. Are you married? Insert your spouse. So you'll put NA in the name, and you would assume that that's enough for immigration to determine that you're not married. That's not the case. They want you to put NA in the name of the spouse, in the birthday of the spouse, where the spouse was born, everywhere in that section. Same thing appears to apply to this new I-944 form. They want you to put NA in all the spots, or else they claim they're going to reject or deny that application. Tip number 8, if you're filling out the I-864 or the 944, you want to make sure that any spots that you want to indicate 0 or none, or you want to leave it blank, make sure that you don't leave it blank, and make sure that you don't enter in a 0 or even the word 0. You want to actually enter in the word none. And so if the form asks you, what do you have in assets, and it's actually 0, don't put in 0 or leave it blank. Don't put it in A. You want to make sure that you type out the word none, or else the government may just reject your application. Tip number 9, make sure that you insert translations. So if any document is not in English, make sure that you have a translation with a translator certification at the bottom, or else the government will just deny your application. Tip number 10, you will have to submit tax transcripts and a credit report. Now, if you need a tax transcript, you can obtain it by visiting the government's website at www.irs.gov, and you can request the last 3 years of tax transcripts, no problem. In the past, the US government used to allow tax returns. That's no longer the case. So if you have tax returns and that's all you have to go and get your IRS tax transcripts. The next bit of advice is that you have to submit a credit report, and you can get a free credit report from all 3 of the major credit reporting agencies. That is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So if you don't have a credit report, just know that you can get it for free. I'm going to include in the description box below a link where you can get that credit report for free. So these are the top 10 tips when you're filing a green card application after February 24th, 2020. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and click the like button and subscribe button if you want to be notified for all future videos related to immigration. Again, I'm Attorney David Nguyen, and we hope that we have made immigration easy to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David Nguyen.